We welcome in this morning back to the show State Representative Dave Agema from Granville. He's the Republican. Nice to talk to you again, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
Let me just ask you, as a pilot, and you flew commercial airliners, this story that's coming out of, there's a Detroit connection, in fact. Two men, United Airlines flight, Chicago to Amsterdam, questioned by Dutch authorities. They found a cell phone taped to a Pepto-Bismol bottle, a knife, and a box cutter, but it was in the checked luggage. And so now this man, Ahmed Mohammed Nasser al-Sufi, had a Michigan address, so the FBI went into his southwest Detroit neighborhood, did a little poking around now, and they are charged, as we understand it, with preparation of a terrorist attack. What's your reaction to hearing this story? They had cell phones taped together, $7,000 in cash, and a cell phone taped to a Pepto-Bismol bottle.
Well, I think, what's my reaction? It's kind of typical. I guess that particular group, we all know that most of the terrorism occurs from people that were between, 20 and 40 years old, or 20 and 35. When they do these kind of things, we know what they're prepared for. So we even had, after 9/11, we discovered, for the airline I flew for example, that we stopped taking in a lot of food. That's why you got very little there for that first year after 9/11, because we discovered that people working for the food industry were actually taping weapons inside the kitchens in the airplanes as they catered the airplanes. And then somebody could ride in first class. If they knew where that was at, they could get a hold of that weapon. There's a lot of things going on there that the average person didn't know.
Wow.
That the airlines were dealing with. So I'm just surprised that they're still... It was in his luggage. You know, I can carry a weapon in my luggage as long as I declare it.
Mm-hmm.
I can have knives because I hunt, and I also carry guns down there. But your weapon has to have the gun opened up, the bolt opened up, and then your shells have to be separate somewhere else. So if somebody digs into that, they can't get it. But it doesn't surprise me. I mean, we've been going a long time now without any terrorist attack. It's going to happen again, just a matter of time. They hate us. They hate us because we're not them. We're an infidel. So this is going to go on and on. And by the way, that's one reason why, indirectly, that I've got a lot of the bills I got in for illegal immigration, because we know we have cells here in the United States, and those cells are preparing for attacks. So just be prepared. Don't be too shocked about it, is what I say, and just be wise with this organization, these type of organizations. But we're not. We act like they don't exist, but they do.
I suppose if you have a cell phone taped to a Pepto-Bismol bottle in the checked luggage, that means it's in the belly of the airplane. I'm going to guess that there's some sort of trigger where if they could phone that phone from another phone, they could set it off. Do you think that's what they were up to?
Boy, on this one, I don't know, because I never heard of a Pepto-Bismol bottle exploding. I mean, that's just something I've never heard of before. Heard of a lot of other things. That's why when you go through your security, they're looking for flammable materials, you know, little jars of whatever it might be, gasoline, or there's a lot of things that are coming up with now that cannot be detected quite as well. So, you know, is it something surprising? Not at all. But I'm just glad they found it. They're doing their job, obviously, and hopefully they'll catch some more.
Did you ever have anything mysterious happen to you or sinister while you were flying a commercial aircraft?
Well, we'd have times where we'd have bomb threats, and then we'd have to turn around, come back, and they'd check the airplane. And quite often it was just that, a bomb threat, just to disrupt commerce. And they'd go back and they'd say there's nothing wrong with the airplane. Either we'd board another one or take the existing airplane. But then again, everybody was delayed. Everybody was afraid. And that's really their goal. If they can make a few of these things happen, then people get afraid and commerce stops. And they're just trying to hurt us any way they can commercially. So.
You mentioned immigration a minute ago. There's a story this morning. A new poll shows Michigan residents want a crackdown on immigration, similar to the one that's been passed in Arizona. This is an EPIC MRA study for the Free Press. 2/3 of people in our state want a law requiring police to ask for legal proof if someone is in the country legally. Does that surprise you?
I have that bill.
Yeah.
And I have several other bills. I've had these kind of bills for almost 3 years. The big holdup is the Speaker of the House. He refuses to let the bills be heard and voted on. In fact, he told me last week, when I reminded him, I said, are you going to allow this vote? He said, you would? He said, I don't think so. Very unlikely, because this would stir up the minorities, and I don't want to do that. So when you really look from his perspective, he's thinking, well, if I do this, I'm going to get a lot of people angry at me that might vote for us. So he's just going to bottle those up. I don't think we're going to see anything like this till we get a new governor and a new floor leader and a new Speaker of the House. Sad, but that's just the way things work here in Lansing. He controls every event. We don't vote on a single bill unless he says it's okay. It never sees the light of day, and I think he's just going to bury it all. And what bothers me most is it's three things going on here. It's a security issue for the people of the state of Michigan. It's a fiscal issue for the state of Michigan because FAIR estimates we spend about over $900 million a year on health care, education, welfare, jails, and human services. And it's a jobs issue because we know now that a lot of the people that we hire with our own state money to build roads, bridges, construction, roofing, drywall are illegals. And another thing they brought out is only about 5% of the people that are here illegally are working on farms. 95%, that means, are not. So where are they working? They're working in places where they're taking people from the state of Michigan's jobs. So that's an issue, and it's got to be addressed, and it really bothers me that he won't address it. So his political ambitions, in my opinion, on the other side of the aisle are more important than what's right for the state of Michigan and the United States of America. And as a military officer, that bothers me to no end because I see politics trumps common sense.
Speaking of common sense, there were 100 veterans and their supporters turned out for a rally at a Grand Rapids home for veterans. They want an exemption from the state smoking ban in public places, and as I understand it, you support them.
I supported them in particular. I have a couple stories on that one, but I was with my friend who ended up dying there in that facility from various things. You know, he had Agent Orange, he had a whole bunch of things going wrong with him. They have actually a smoking porch on every floor. I sat there with him, and that smoking porch was heated and ventilated, and nobody else could smell the smoke, and that's where they would go to smoke. And I tried to tell the guy, you know, you ought to quit smoking. And he looked at me with a kind of funny eye, and he said, what's it going to do, kill me? I'm already dying. At least I can have a cigarette before I die. And, I kind of looked at him. I had to agree. What am I telling him not to smoke for? So they already have the facility there for it. The problem is the new law says they can't have that. So to me, that law is inconsistent and it's capricious because we have other organizations like the casinos and the cigar bars. They can do it, but not our vets. And, you know, the vets feel that it's their right to do it. It's their home. That's where they live. We don't tell other people what they can do in their homes, so don't tell us what we can do in our home. They're upset because they just feel they've earned it, and they don't like legislators telling them what to do. And a lot of people there thought, too, that the right to do those kind of things is inherent in our system, and it's only taken away by legislators when they pass such laws. So prior to that law, any business, if they wanted to be no smoking, or any bar could just hang a sign up, say no smoking. So I think this was one organization in particular that was overlooked. That should be changed.
Can you smoke in apartment buildings?
Can you?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I think under the new law, I don't know. Inside your house, I would think you can. But I think it's a precursor for something else. When you look around at Obamacare, if somebody is heavy and overweight or whatever the case might be, they're living an unhealthy lifestyle, and you see it, it's just another step in that, which would say, okay, since I have to pay for your health care, I should have a say in what you can and cannot do. I think there lies the problem with this whole system of telling people what they can and cannot do. And remember, you lose your freedoms one law at a time. And a law is nothing more than somebody's idea in a legislature. And we might pass too many laws anyway in the legislature. By the way, we still don't have the budget done. I don't know if you noticed that. They canceled session again for a while. So that's going to leave us 4 weeks. So we had 11 months to do a budget, and it's going to leave us 4 weeks to do it. So there's going to be total chaos once again, late nights, get us sleepy, have us vote on things we really don't want to vote on. It's just a ridiculous way to run a state.
Well, you said it there first, Representative Agema. Thank you very much for the chat this morning, and we appreciate you being with us so early. State Representative Dave Agema from Grandville, Michigan, the Republican, on a number of issues this morning, and we will definitely talk again soon. It's 35 minutes after the hour.